Hey everyone, it is I, Jack, and Evil Dead Burn. Wow. Okay. I saw this last night and I haven't stopped thinking about this film. Little backstory. Evil Dead is one of my favorite films. The original, the very original. I'm not the biggest fan of Evil Dead 2, although it's funny, it's great. But the funny part is the thing that bothers me about it. Army of Darkness, yeah, it's great, but it shied so much or moved so much into the comedy realm that it's not really a horror film. So when Evil Dead, I think was it 2013 came out, um, that one, fantastic. It was great. And then they came out with Evil Dead Rise, which actually I have on right now. And I actually did like that one a lot too. So then when I heard about Evil Dead Burn, I was very intrigued because where they're going with this, I have no idea, but I'm curious. I'm very, very curious. So now that I've seen it, well, man, this fucking film is brutal. There's really no other way of describing this film besides that one word, brutal. This film literally is bloody as fuck. Um, Very nihilistic in its violence. It's just violent, and very claustrophobic. A lot of actually the whole film takes place in a house. That's it, and it's kind of um, and the main story is them they're trying to get out, but they're stuck because well, deadites are blocking the way out, especially a dog deadite. That's the first for the franchise. And I will say the brutality also it's not because of what happens to the dog. No, it is brutal for the sake of being brutal. This film, um, it's it tried that when they came up with the idea for this film, they said, okay, let's try to gross out the audience as much as we can, and that's technically what they did in this film. It's oof. There are certain like small, even small moments that make you cringe. Not really a spoiler, but there's a scene where someone steps on a hand, and you see the flesh just fall off. Oh, it just like makes you cringe. So the story basically is a wife loses her husband and she's trying to seek solace with the mother-in-law, the parents of her deceased husband, and just all hell breaks loose. But the reason why it breaks loose is pretty intriguing, although they don't really put too much emphasis on it. They they brought up something really interesting and they kind of just gloss over it. And I think that was a missed opportunity because yes, I did enjoy the film. I really enjoyed it because again, I also like Evil Dead. But I would have loved that I loved more if they would have touched on the lore. And they didn't. They just said, "Okay, it's an Evil Dead film. Let's just gross out people, make the skin crawl from the audience, and let's just have fun." Which is great. It does. It's really a great thing. If you're an Evil Dead fan, again, but in this year, 2026, we've had some really, really good horror films. The biggest one right now, everyone keeps talking about, is Obsession. Second to that is Backroads. And third to that, I can't think of one, but there is one I can think of. And that's Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Why that one? Because technically Lee Cronin wanted to make his own version of Evil Dead, but unfortunately couldn't. So he made it in that. And I need to make a review, even though the movie's already been out and it's on streaming now on HBO. I need to make a review on that because I do have thoughts on that film. But those are the three films out that everyone has been talking about. I'm throwing No Mummy in because they have substance. This one, it's just gore, gore, violence, ultra violence, brutality, disturbing imagery, disturbing. There's a sequence where I feel some people are gonna have issues with, and I'm not talking about the dog, but there's a sequence where I think people who've had some trauma in their life, they're gonna be like, "Ooh, I can't," with this one particular scene. So, is it great? Is the film great? Well, again, if you're an Evil Dead fan, yes, it checks all the boxes. It's great. If you're a horror fan, you're gonna wonder like why is it scary? Because it's not scary. It's violent, it's brutal, but you're not scared. There is a moment or two where you're like, oh, but it's very few. It's a very few. There's a very few moments like that where you genuinely are in fear for something. So general horror film audiences may pass on it. They may just wait for streaming. They may not be the Evil Dead fans, maybe, but I had I had fun with it. I think of and this is going to be blasphemous for maybe some, but I think of Evil Dead films. The first one is classic. You cannot take that one off the top. You cannot. But number 2, the second best Evil Dead film, is 2013's Evil Dead. That to me is so good. It's so good. So where this one falls, I will say it's not as good as Rise, because Rise at least gave you a little bit of, you get to know the people here and there, you get to know a little bit about their background. This one is kind of, it's there's glossing over a lot of times. There's a very it's a small moment of insight into why the couple have had issues, and it's only touched upon briefly to a degree, and then brought back for a sentence, but it's not given its weight, you know. But the film does live up to the burn title, because the theme in this is fire or heat. And oddly enough, it does coincide with what I'm mentioning. This little moment that's kind of glossed over, I think. It's thematic. But yeah, like you've seen in the posters and you've seen in the trailer, there's fire involved, and that's kind of the theme and the power that some of these Deadites have, or one in particular. But anyway, though, I think general horror movie audiences, or just general audiences, they will probably not like this film that much. But me, as an Evil Dead fan, I do like it. So to each his own, you know. I would give it, as an Evil Dead fan, I would give it probably like a 7. As a horror movie fan, probably a 7, because I like these type of films. So to each his own. But anyway, though, if you've seen Evil Dead Burn, what did you think? What are your thoughts? Where would you put this on the totem of Evil Dead films? You know. Anyway, though, like, subscribe, share, comment for shirts. Oh, actually, before I go into that, okay, I this is going to be a little bit of a sidebar. Okay, and so, believe me, it's going to be worth it. So when Evil Dead Rise came out, Waxwork Records had this amazing record for the film, for the score. Now, the reason why I'm impressed by that record is because what they did is put pages of the Necronomicon, of that version's or that film's Necronomicon, into the vinyl. So it was like a book. And I missed out on it. Oh, do I regret it. Now you can find it on Discogs. It's like $60, $70. Original, it was like 40. So it's not too expensive, but you never know. But Waxwork is releasing a score for this film by I think they're called, what are they called? Danger Brothers? Something like that? What? I'll correct the title. Correct the name. It doesn't, sadly, it doesn't have the pages, but the record itself looks very, very, very cool. I may jump in on this one and get it, not only from my collection, but shameless plug, if you want to pre-order it on hereticcircle.com, I will try to send it out to you for a low price, or fairly low price, because I'm in it to collect the vinyls. I'm a vinyl collector. And if you want one, I'll try to get you one at a decent price. So, hereticcircle.com. Look for a listing there for the Evil Dead Burn score vinyl. And if you want a shirt, poster, whatever, look on the site, hereticcircle.com. And then until the next one, though, cheers.